Respect is a universal challenge that each of us encounters at some point in our lives. It has the power to stir up feelings of agitation and distress, creating a common thread that binds us all. Fortunately, the Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, offer a solution to navigate through disrespect. In today's video, we'll delve into 15 Stoic lessons, equipping you with the tools to master disrespect. But before we dive in, I want to express my gratitude for your viewership. If you find value in this content, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing and ringing the bell for more life-changing Stoic insights. Lesson number 1. Remain calm and resist the urge to retaliate when faced with insults, disregard, or provocation. It's tempting to let anger take the reins, seeking vengeance, but retaliating only fans the flames. Instead, take a deep breath and pause when you sense your temper rising post-disrespect. Count slowly to 10 and press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. This technique rapidly calms the nervous system. Remember, responding aggressively, even if it feels justified, often exacerbates the situation. Long-term success lies in gaining control of yourself before considering a measured response, if one is warranted. Responding. Refraining from retaliation in the heat of the moment is crucial. However, the wisdom extends to avoiding seeking revenge later when emotions have cooled. Attempting to get even through passive-aggressive means only perpetuates the cycle of disrespect. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the best response is not to become like the wrongdoer. Maintain your own principles and treat others with dignity, even if they don't reciprocate initially. Following Marcus Aurelius's guidance, your example can contribute to elevating the situation. With patience and self-discipline, you become the calm eye of the storm when confronted with disrespect, a strength that often diffuses and transforms volatile situations more effectively than reactive anger. Lesson number 2. Consider the source. As Seneca wisely stated, "He who takes offense when no offense is intended is a fool, yet he who takes offense when offense is intended is also a fool." The wise person ignores insults. When faced with insults or demeaning remarks, take a moment to pause and reflect before responding. Understanding the source of the disrespect can provide valuable insights and guide your response with greater wisdom. Character. Reacting to disrespectful behavior requires understanding that their actions may reflect their own pain, insecurity, or ignorance, rather than an accurate judgment of you. Consider the possibility that they have unresolved issues that are skewing their reactions. In scenarios like customer service, recognize that disrespectful behavior often arises from stress, which may have nothing to do with you. Avoid taking transient interactions personally. Cultivate compassion for the suffering that may be driving their behavior. Understanding that people's perceptions and assumptions are often more about them than about external reality or others is a powerful perspective. Recognize that subjective judgments are shaped by biases and past experiences. In a broader sense, acknowledge that what people attack in you may mirror what they struggle with within themselves. Their disrespect doesn't necessarily imply any lack of merit in you. Maintain inner faith in your own value, irrespective of how others behave. Let their negativity roll off your back while upholding steadfast dignity and self-knowledge. The wise do not internalize insults. Lesson number 3. Be the bigger person when insulted or mistreated. Pause before reacting negatively. View it as a test of your principles and character. By rising above disrespectful behavior, you not only maintain your own integrity, but also contribute to a more positive and constructive environment. Own response. Resilience lies in finding the wisdom and strength to rise above the urge for retaliation. Instead, reply with calm assertiveness, steering clear of aggression. Establish clear boundaries and protect yourself without resorting to insults or meanness in return. Make reasonable requests for changed behavior, but avoid demanding or commanding. In the face of persistent disrespectful behavior, know when to walk away, whether temporarily or permanently, from the situation and relationship. However, make this decision with integrity, avoiding explosive venting or passive-aggressive parting shots. Maintain poise and respectfulness even when provoked. This transformation not only impacts the conflict, but also shapes your own character. Lesson number 4. Focus on what you can control. As Epictetus wisely noted, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. When insulted or mistreated, avoid expending energy on trying to change the other person or endlessly ruminating about the situation. While you cannot dictate their attitudes or behavior, you have complete agency over your own response. Following this principle of focusing on what you can control empowers you to navigate disrespect with resilience and grace. Remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden." When you face disrespect with virtue, it loses its power to disturb you, and you, in turn, lead by uplifting example. Own opinions and perspectives, and not everyone will share the same values or understanding. In your response, ask yourself constructive questions, such as, how can I handle this situation with composure and ethics? What can I learn about myself and my principles from this experience? What is the most dignified way to move forward? Channel your power into the sphere of influence available to you, staying rooted in your values and acting with integrity. Calmly advocate for fair treatment when possible, and control the narrative you tell yourself. Seek to improve circumstances through reasonable action, but let go of attachment to controlling uncontrollable things, like someone else's conduct. Serenity comes from focusing only on what is within your power. While disrespect may be unavoidable at times, remember that you always have the choice to respond with wisdom and principle, or react with disturbance and blindness. Your control begins within. Lesson number 5. Accept that you cannot please everyone. No matter how kind, skillful, or wise you are, some people will inevitably be disrespectful or dislike you. Reflect on the root causes when someone treats you disrespectfully. Consider whether their behavior stems from vastly different values, worldviews, and experiences, rather than anything about you personally. Remind yourself that people have a right to their own opinions and perspectives, and not everyone will share the same values or understanding. Fair, and not every criticism deserves the same weight. Reflect on whether any of the criticism holds validity. Stoics recognize that we all have flaws and room for growth. When faced with disrespectful feedback, handle it thoughtfully. Instead of resorting to knee-jerk defensiveness, pause and review the feedback rationally. Once emotions have settled, ask yourself whether the criticism highlights a genuine weakness in you. Be open to the usefulness of the message, even if the delivery is harsh. Is there room for improvement, or are there virtues to cultivate related to the flaws they pointed out? Conduct an honest self-inventory before rejecting criticism outright. Lesson number 6. Reflect on whether any of the criticism has validity. Stoics understand that we are all imperfect and have areas for improvement. Approach disrespectful feedback with an open mind. While not all feedback is accurate or fair, there might be valuable insights that can contribute to your personal growth and development. It becomes hatred. Lesson number 7. Remember that we all make mistakes. When insulted or mistreated, it's natural to feel anger and a desire for retribution. However, holding on to resentments rarely benefits you in the long run. It energetically chains you to the one who hurt you. Ask yourself whether a slight disrespect merits ongoing distress and a demand for vengeance. Consider whether it's better to simply forgive unskillful behavior that wasn't deeply malicious and move on. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, the best response is not to become like the wrongdoer. Wish them well instead. Forgiveness demonstrates courage and principles. While some acts of disrespect may cross lines requiring accountability or removal from your life, use wisdom to discern unhealthy patterns necessitating boundaries. For simple misunderstandings, warranting grace and minor disputes, a short memory often serves happiness. As Epictetus said, we should control our anger and restrain it in narrow bounds, lest it becomes hatred. Choose forgiveness over lingering resentment for your own peace of mind and well-being. Go and actively choose to be around people who respect and uplift you. Lesson number 8. Surround yourself with respectful, supportive people. Conduct a careful audit of your relationships and social circles. Are there individuals who routinely act dismissively or demeaningly toward you? Do they fail to appreciate your worth? Consider limiting contact with those who bring out the worst in you. Even if disconnecting completely isn't feasible, as may be the case with difficult family members, try to minimize time spent together. Interact only briefly and under controlled conditions where possible. Manage your exposure. Fill your life with those who treat you with basic decency and encourage your growth. Surround yourself with individuals who resonate with your values. Good company uplifts your whole being. Have compassion even for toxic people, but also protect your energy. Relationships should empower both parties, not drain one. Remember, you teach others how to treat you by what you tolerate. Choose to be around those who see your light rather than cast shade upon it. Life opens up exponentially when you let go of connections that no longer serve your well-being and actively choose to be around people who contribute positively to your life. Disrespect, making it seem worse than it is. Share your experiences with close confidants who offer healthy support and perspective, but avoid fixating endlessly on anyone who will listen. This reinforces victimhood and negativity. When you feel the urge to gossip or complain arise, pause first. Consider whether this is truly serving your growth or just spreading more toxicity. There are often better uses for your time and energy. Venting discontent can easily become a bad habit when disrespected, but as Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Excessive complaining magnifies hurt. Shift your focus to constructive action instead. Look for the learning in difficulties rather than just telling tales of woe. Frame experiences neutrally as opportunities to demonstrate virtues like forgiveness, courage, and patience. When communicating, avoid words that blow up the significance of the disrespect, making it seem worse than it is. Choose to empower yourself by shifting your perspective and focusing on the positive lessons and virtues that can emerge from challenging situations. Impact your well-being unless you grant them permission. Be wary of confirmation bias when seeking support from others. Commiserating only with those who agree with your perspective might offer short-term relief, but can keep you stuck in a victimhood mentality. See the bigger picture and handle difficulties philosophically within yourself, avoiding the amplification of negativity outwardly. Lesson number 10. Keep an emotional distance from those who mistreat you. When someone insults you, recognize that it says more about their issues and character than your value as a person. Their opinions come from their subjective perspective, not any absolute truth. Don't take attacks personally. Maintain inner faith in your own worth and principles, regardless of others' conduct. Their disrespect does not diminish your value. Remain grounded in self-knowledge rather than seeking validation from them. While nobody enjoys being attacked, The impact on your spirit is within your power to manage. Following Marcus Aurelius's advice, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Refuse to let the shortcomings of others become your own. By allowing their words to infiltrate how you see yourself, you remain fully in control over your dignity and inner peace. Externals cannot penetrate your mind and impact your well-being unless you grant them permission. Maintaining your integrity and values when insulted or mistreated. The temptation to betray your principles in reaction, perhaps by demeaning them back, sabotaging their reputation, or seeking validation, can be strong. However, these reactive ploys only diminish your worth further. Instead of playing their game, stand firm in who you are. Exemplify kindness, understanding, and fairness, even if the other party does not reciprocate. In the midst of a frustrating conflict, do not let their behavior drag you down. As Epictetus put it, dare to look up to God and say, "Make use of me for the future as thou wilt. I am of the same mind. I am one with thee. I refuse nothing which seems good to thee." Have faith in your higher purpose. While it's essential to examine your own conduct for areas of improvement, do not abandon your core principles or adopt unethical behavior. Compromise on superficial matters but not your soul. Staying rooted in wisdom and conscience earns self-respect and integrity, becoming your steady anchor in any stormy conflict. Lesson number 12. Be polite and professional, but stand up for yourself when necessary. Default to maintaining a level of politeness and professionalism, even in the face of disrespect. However, don't shy away from standing up for yourself when it's necessary to assert your boundaries and protect your well-being. Balancing politeness with self-assertion demonstrates true strength and maturity in handling disputes with rational virtue, dignity and principles, and let others make their choices. Taking the high road and extending basic respect to those who mistreat you is a commendable approach, but it doesn't mean allowing harmful behavior to continue unaddressed in the name of peacekeeping. Passivity can backfire when disrespected. Speak up politely, asserting your boundaries. Let them know that certain remarks or behaviors are hurtful and unjustified. Give them the opportunity to recognize and adjust their conduct. Assume good intent initially and be firm and fair in establishing your boundaries. If the mistreatment persists, remove yourself immediately from the interaction. Whether facing verbal or physical aggression, do not remain mistreated for the sake of etiquette. Even then, part ways while upholding your own authority and principles. Find power in embodying essential dignity for yourself and all people, with principled courage and the highest mutual care. Much conflict can be transformed by leading with the intent to draw out the angels in human nature. Lesson number 13. Realize you cannot force others to respect you. When disrespected, resist the temptation to reactively blow up or cave in, trying to coerce respect through intimidation or obsequiousness. These strategies undermine self-worth. Authentic respect cannot be compelled. Understand that others' choices to be polite or not ultimately stem from their own judgments and inner state. Attempts to control their behavior externally lead to frustration and a loss of personal power. Focus instead on self-respect, upholding your own dignity and principles, and let others make their choices. Standards of integrity, independent of how anyone else chooses to act. Lead by example through demonstrating principled, rational responses that speak for themselves. As Gandhi said, "I cannot teach you violence, as I do not myself believe in it. I can only teach you not to bow your heads before anyone, even at the cost of your life." Stand tall internally. When you remain composed and ethical amidst mistreatment, you earn self-respect through courage and virtue. Your inherent dignity shines bright enough to inspire it in others. When conditions allow, nurture it first within yourself. Lesson number 14. Focus on the positives. When insulted or mistreated, it's easy to fall into self-pity and dwell on negatives. However, wallowing in victimhood tends to breed more unhappiness than conflict resolution. Counterbalance it with gratitude. Make a list of your positive qualities and valuable contributions. Remember all the people in your life who love, respect, and support you. Review your achievements and capabilities. Consider the disrespectful person's own positive attributes as well. Their flaws likely coexist with good intentions and virtues. In areas where you lack information, assume fundamental human dignity. Sit with the reality that you have gifts to offer and are worthy of respect just for being you. While it's essential to address mistreatment, focusing on the positives reinforces your self-worth and contributes to a healthier perspective on challenging situations. Your journey. Release attachment to receiving validation from every person. Peace comes from within, not needing constant external validation. Focusing on the light during times of darkness provides perspective and protects against distorted thinking. Be proud of your merits while having compassion for those who may be unable to appreciate them fully, at least for now. As Carl Jung put it, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." Your circumstances and treatment do not define your worth. Shine on undeterred, focusing on your inner strength and the positive aspects of your journey. Lesson number 15. Take the long view on life's ups and downs. When embroiled in conflicts or mistreated, recall times in your past when you overcame similar trials, even if they felt devastating in the moment. Remind yourself that you are stronger than you know, and this too shall pass. Look at difficult scenarios as opportunities to demonstrate principles of understanding, resilience, and grace under fire. How you respond defines you more than what happens. Endure nobly, drawing inspiration from the great figures you admire. Consider how petty occasional disrespect will seem in 10 years' time. Of all the experiences shaping your life, don't exaggerate the significance of one. Keep perspective. Of course, take reasonable steps to establish healthy boundaries and uphold justice, but do so patiently and rooted in the bigger picture. Temporary conflicts need not derail your journey. Philosophy. If you've stayed until the end, thank you for your attention. If any of these Stoic lessons have resonated with you today, feel free to start a Stoic discussion in the comments. I welcome Stoic discussions, as they align with the advice of great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, and if you want more content like this, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you find peace and serenity in the Stoic philosophy.